Hey y'all, welcome to Abstract Music Reviews. I am Twincher and I will be guiding you through the best music released this week. So the way I do it, I will judge albums that make the cut out of 10, demos or EPs based out of 5. My rating system is literally just based on how I feel, very subjective, so take that into account. These are just the opinions of a degenerate ingrate with a love for metal. So that being said, let's jump into what I deem the best music of this week. From Hollywood, California, it is Ashen Horde and their album Fallen Cathedrals. This is my first time listening to them, and they are some proggy black metal. Usually to me, black metal is kind of corny sometimes, has the same tropes, has the same style, has the same sound across bands, but I really like this one. There are times where they kind of broke away from what they were doing, as their prog label would suggest. Sometimes they broke away from the norm and even went a little avant-garde. And for their originality, I give this album an 8 out of 10. Next up is Battle Beast from Helsinki, Finland, with their album No More Hollywood Endings. This band is a heavy metal band that has some ties to classic rock. I was hearing a lot of tropes such as callbacks to Bon Jovi, a little symphonic metal going on sometimes. Who doesn't like a little symphonic metal? I never heard this band. I was surprised at how much I actually like them. This band could definitely rock, and their lyrics and the topics they cover are very wholesome. I don't mean this in a bad way, but if my daughter were to suddenly get into rock and metal and ask me for a suggestion, I'd give her this album. Despite that, one thing is for sure, this band can definitely rock, these guys can definitely play, and their front woman can definitely sing. Check it out, and for these reasons, I give this album a 7 out of 10. Okay, next up is Cellar Darling from Lucerne, Switzerland, with their album The Spell. I'm all sorts of excited about this album, and I'm really glad that I went into it blindly without preconceived notions. At first, when I heard their name, I wasn't really... I was judging them a little negatively because it's not a name that calls out to me. I'm glad that I was wrong. I liked the first song, and they had me. But when I heard a flute solo on the second song, oh, they really had me. Going through this album, there are touches of orchestral metal, a little bit avant-garde in terms of the way they incorporate these classical instruments, flutes, violins, hurdy-gurdy. You name it, it's there. They have fast-paced metal songs, and they have ballads of classical stylings. So this album is all over the place, but not erratically. It's very well put together. This is a great album. If you listen to anything new released this week, I highly suggest this is the one. I give this album a 9 out of 10. Now, from Akron, Ohio, we have Red Sun Rising with their release, Peel. This is another album that caught me off guard. It seems like a stylistic change for a band that's normally considered a rock band. This is an acoustic album, and I was very impressed with it. And this is coming from someone who wasn't really a Red Sun Rising fan as it is, but I really enjoyed it. If possible, maybe this is a style that they should be looking to keep. Due to subjectiveness and all this stuff, I liked it. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now, this next band is called Sermon, and they released their record, Birth of the Marvelous. And there's not really much known about them. From what I have seen from one or two websites, apparently this is the creation of a single person who wishes, at least for now, to remain anonymous. So I don't know who this is or where they're from, but with the type of music that it is, it's got elements of atmospheric, progressive metal is what I'll call it. It kind of reminds me a bit of Catatonia, sometimes Anathema, sometimes Atom Ship, if anyone remembers them. And overall, it's a really good, dynamic album. For this reason, I give it 8.5 out of 10. And Sermon, if you happen to see this, who are you? Tell me who you are. I mean, I enjoy the mystique. I enjoy the mystery and the intrigue, but you know what, don't tell me who you are. I really enjoy that as an element to enjoying alongside the music. And last up today, we have the self-titled album by Temple of Vestfold, Norway. I really, really like metal, obviously. But something I have a soft spot in my heart for is crossover. Who here likes crossover? This album by Temple is very crossover, even though they categorize themselves as hard rock, definitely crossover, and I like it. You've got your metal solos, you got your chuggy rhythms, you got a heaviness on top of those, and some guys yelling over it all, and it's just fast and it's fun. I really enjoyed it. This is going to be a 7.5 out of 10 for me. So I hope you enjoyed listening to the opinions of this degenerate ingrate. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Did I snub something? If you want a complete list of all the albums that I listened to this week, check out the About section below, or description, or whatever we call it here on YouTube, and get further enraged as to why I didn't include your favorite albums. And let me know. If you liked it, let me know. If you disliked it, let me know. Leave likes and comments. And one last thing, if you get the chance, please check out the debut album from my band, Animism Abstract. The album's called December. I worked really long and really hard on it, and it would certainly mean a lot to me if you gave it a listen, gave it a follow on Spotify, put it on your personal playlist, anything like that. Link in the description, and check this out on Twitter. Thanks for checking us out and giving a bit of your time. As always, have a great life.